recording. There we go. So, but yes, it is possible to win the constructors at this race. We need to find 6 more points than Mercedes. And if we do, we will be the Constructors Champion for Season 4. There's only 2 races left. We're going to get into it here at COTA. Time is expected to be somewhat dry, I should say, that the weather. So, the climate should be good for racing. COTA, fantastic track. Should be a lot of fun. Let's get into it, shall we? Okay. So the race is 17%. We stopped developing the car. Let's move over here to Austin's dry setup. We're going to go the practice session, and then at the end of the practice session, we're actually going to swap over to the 8th engine. So that's something to keep a note of as well. I need to check one thing real quick, and that is that Winamp is working. And yes, it is. So let's get the Winamp, the old SNES music going. We're going to go to track. We're going to go out to practice. And then after the end of the practice session, we'll hit up the engine change. So the crazy thing is I've been playing a lot of F123 recently, and it handles so differently. So I'm going to have to get used to 12 again. But we'll be playing, I played 23 offline, of course. And then, whatchamacallit, we're going to be racing, we'll be finishing the season soon, actually, because we have a stream Monday coming up, and Wednesday, and Friday. And Friday streams should include Interlagos. I have updated the schedule on the channel to incorporate the secret streams, the 2 secret streams, the unplanned streams. We had one yet last night, obviously, with Football Manager 2024. We did 2 games in that. And then as well with the stream tonight, this stream currently. We'll be planning on going kind of late. Maybe like 11 o'clock. And then I actually have to do homework for the class that I'm in. It's nothing big. I think it's like read 20 pages of a booklet and then do like an 11 question quiz. It's something relatively manageable. So, didn't mean to wait till the last second, but to do it, or the last day to do it, but that's just how things panned out, I guess, with yesterday's stream and the game on Tuesday and the study session on Thursday. So, I just want to check the volume levels. Yeah, they're good. It's going to go back and forth with Winamp and the game, I think, because, well, I don't want to call them MIDI files, but essentially the different files have different volume levels, so. That's a 150. That should be improvable. But that lap did feel good, I'll say that. That 150 didn't necessarily feel terrible. Woo! Oh, I lost it. Almost lost it. There we go. I couldn't find my mic on the mixer, so on the mixer volume, as I have horizontal levels. Sue me. On my set up on my OBS, I broke way too early for this. It's okay. It'll be okay at least. Ooh, still purple, but barely. Yeah, looking forward to finishing season 2 of Football Manager of CLG FC tonight, and getting into season. Well, starting the off season. We won't be able to actually get into season 3 until probably. I imagine even Monday stream's not going to touch season 3. And the reason I say that is because I think I think we have 2 weeks of training after our last game because the under-18s still play. The under-18s actually go into May. No, I went way too quick into that corner back there in the S's. Oh well. But yeah, with the season concluding essentially at the end of April, we would have all of May, all of June, all of July to get, and all of August to get through before the season actually begins. So, and those 4 months are going to have a lot of preseason games in them. So, I'd imagine we're going to have about 8 or 9 preseason games to do. So, we're not watching any online tournaments. Not online tournaments, I should say. Any summer tournaments this year. There is the Club World Cup, but which we'll keep an eye on, but we're not going to actually watch the games. Not like the Euros. Unless there's a Gold Cup, but I don't think there would be a Gold Cup given the fact that it's the Club World Cup. So, the end of season 3, there'll be a tournament to watch in the summer, and it'll be a pretty big one. It'll be the 2026 FIFA World Cup. So, definitely going to be watching that tournament. Whoa! Managed to get it into the 149s. Woo! Coda can be a little tricky at times in certain areas. The S's are certainly going to really test you. So, interested to see what Kobayashi's time was at the start-finish straight. We'll see what he is, what he's doing, what he's pulling. I'm purple through 2. That's nice. That's very hard to keep my left tire off that grass there for some reason. It's triple right-hander. Woo! All over the shop in Sector 3, I gotta admit. Getting a nice tow from Perez, though. This will be a 148. Go up on the inside of him. There we go. Not bad that time through the S's. Coda, I would say, is one of the tracks between 2012 and the new versions of the game that drives drastically different. I mean, you're gonna tow me if anything, Vettel. If you're gonna block me, you're gonna tow me down this long ass straight at least. That's purple through 2. That's that third part of that right-hander that I seem to have a lot of understeer with. A 147 now. I'm getting a lot of tow on these laps though. That's fine. Kobayashi's in the 151, so even my first lap that I came out with that had the 150 would be quicker. That's all right with me. All over the shop here in Sector 1 of the S's, though. Yeah! That left-hander is really tricky, actually, because if you take it wrong like I almost did there, well, I've overcooked this turn. It will throw you off. Ooh. All right. Thinking we can do probably like maybe 15, 20 laps on these tires.
You're a little off the pace in all sectors.
Yeah, I figured as much that lap. Tricky not to lock up there because the hill and then having to turn left and the hill flattens out on you midway through. Like, that is a tricky turn 1, actually. Oh. Purple through Sector 1, that's good. It certainly is feeling good so far. We'll see how we do in Sector 3. Oh, I locked up. Still there for us, though. Purple through 2. Going, oh, there. That is a tricky little bump on the racetrack because you want to go flat there like I did, and then it goes over that bump, and you're. The big concern is that the back end of the car comes out. That's the huge concern there. Didn't leave a ton of curves for the lap But we're into the 146s, 146.693, so we're still improving. There we go. Got a lot of curves for this straight now. Managed to trail break it as well. It's neat to see that NASCAR also race here now, by the way. It's a really good track. It has to be said. It's just phenomenal, really. I think it's one of the best ones. I'm gonna go wide here. I think it's one of the best ones on the F1 calendar today. I'm gonna go way wide there. It's over. That's over. So, like, to me, this track is more enjoyable than Catalunya. I'm actually not a big fan of Catalunya. It's fun to drive, but it's terrible to race on Catalunya. So, great track. I mean, it tests the setup of the car so well, Catalunya, really, because you got to be quick and technical. But in terms of actual racing, I mean, oh, Jesus. Raikkonen, just wait your fucking turn, mate. I'm going to be honest with you. But yeah, I think, you know, Catalunya, turn one is basically the only opportunity to overtake. So, especially now that these cars are wider. So. All right. I know they're rescanning. Oh my God, Ricardo, what are you doing, mate? I know they're rescanning Spa for the upcoming F1 game, which should be interesting. It comes out May 31st, I believe. We are probably going to play it on stream quite a bit. And I say that because, I mean, it'll probably be buggy as shit. That's the only thing I hate, is that goes, oh, what a song. It's perfect too. This is the United States theme from Mario is Missing. So, oh. I don't know one thing. Dinner's killing me right now. Oh my God. I had lasagna for dinner and it's just not settling. It's giving me some good old heartburn. But yeah, assuming F124 won't be too buggy, which I understand is a huge assumption given the track record of the last 2 to 3 releases for this game. We'll be streaming it. It comes out 3 days early, so that would be what, May 28th or something like that, which is only 3 weeks away. So by then, I'll probably be done. Actually, according to the schedule that I have, not only by then will we be done this season, season 4, which after tonight's race we'll only have 1 race left, but we should be through Bahrain in season 5, which is actually round 4 of the championship. So we will actually be getting close to done our 2012 campaign, our F1 2012 campaign. 13 is installed. I did the young drivers test off stream. So we will be having whew. We'll be having 13. We'll be starting 13, I should say. That's also, I believe, 5 seasons. I think 14 is 5 seasons. I think 15 is 1 to 2 seasons. It depends on how much we're going to play 15. Notoriously the worst one in the series, 15. We'll probably play through the 1 season, and then because it goes regular season, and then it goes pro season immediately after, which is basically everything is off, all assists are off, which may not be an issue by then. We might be trained enough that we don't need them. I mean, you can see now I'm doing all right with medium traction control for the most part. And no anti-lock brakes. Car got a little loose there. Racing line is going to be a big one to get rid of. And then, sorry. In the newer games, I do have pit assist off as well. It's not too bad in the new ones. So this engine was spawned in 2012. Carried on through 2015 with graphical improvements and some handling improvements. And then they completely revamped the engine for 16. And that's what we came to know and love all the way through 20 or 21, something like that. And then they redid the engine for 21 or 22. I can't remember which one. So it, 16 and 17, 18, 19, they all act like 20, 21, 22. There's similarities with them, but the handling engine is definitely very different. I know the handling engine from 22 to 23 also changed drastically. And for the good. 22 was kind of meh. 23 really, the cars feel a lot better. I would love to play this game on stream. Super Mario RPG, absolutely love it. It's just a phenomenal game. So I would get a Switch, but like I said on last night's stream, there's not a lot of games that I would even consider for the Switch. I mean, my library for the Switch might be at like 6 to 8 games at best, given everything. And at the same time, I do not want to give Nintendo money. I can't stand that company. And I think it's a disgrace how they treat their fan base. You know, they're just not a customer-centric company. They don't really give a shit about their customers. So, and it's proof because they just milk them for every re-release and every additional title in each series, Zelda, whatever, instead of actually making newer games. And the fans that keep their older games alive and keep spending money on their older games and give those series longevity, they shit all over. So honestly, it's a god awful company. So. We'll see. I haven't spent money on a Nintendo product since the game, well, technically since the Wii era, but I bought that secondhand off a friend. I didn't buy direct anything from Nintendo. That includes the games. Last time I actually bought anything off a retailer or Nintendo itself was GameCube era, which that's quite a lot. That's like going back 20 years now. Remarkably. Maybe 16, 15, 16 years, but still. So.
You're losing a lot of time in sector
Yeah, well,
2.
my tires are pretty shot, mate, so I have to be careful because they're getting really worn out, these tires. You can see the grain on a lot of them. It's unreal, the levels of grain. The curbs are quickly becoming an enemy. That's how much grain there is. So. At some point, I'm going to have to go use the restroom. Soon. I think we do another maybe 4 laps tops. Senna's in P9. Let's see if he can hold that in qualifying. So. Whoa! I held the DRS open a smidge too late. Whoa!
You're losing lots of time in the final sector.
Yeah, that's because I almost spun, mate. Let's be real. Oh! This might be the last lap. Actually, next lap might be the last lap. We'll see. 17 might be the absolute limit of these tires, though. Getting a nice toe here. We're still down though. We're still red. It's because the tires have no grip left in them. So locking up there is not going to help that matter whatsoever. Woo! It's the subtle elevation changes here that do it. It's not like the turn one, although turn one is tricky, don't get me wrong, but it's not like where you know what's in store. You know there's a big elevation change into a major braking zone, or vice versa, a major braking zone into an elevation change. You know that. You can anticipate for that. It's the subtle ones that make the bigger difference here in Coda. At least to me, you know, like this is a little bit uphill and you gotta go left, right, and then you go right, and then you try to take this, like, it's not a flat left-hander, but then this guy here, okay, right-hander uphill, easy, but then you gotta try to take this flat left and come back down the hill flat left. And the car just wants to be uneasy the whole way through. That's the challenge of Coda. This guy, the dip there, and then that little hill as you run wide. This guy coming up is even worse. Because you have this right-hander, and then this third part is uphill, and then it comes downhill. So that alone wants to throw the car wide. It's going to be a 147. I'm not going to get a purple off that. That is probably, oh yeah, these tires are absolutely begging for mercy. So let's, we got about probably 20 minutes left in this session. Let's come on in. Replace the engine. And then I'll run the ads and go use the restroom. So we are 39 points in the lead of the constructors, or 38 points in the lead of constructors. If we win this race, they finish second and third, they gain 8 points on us. That'll leave us at 30. That means any finish for me above third at Interlagos will secure the constructor's title. Any finish here at Coda that's 8 points or better, or 6 points or better, sorry, 6 points or better, will do the same. It'll give us the constructor's title. There we go. Just straight into the wall. That's final lap music on Coco Island. There are 24 minutes left in the session. We're swapping the engine over. That'll be the end of the session. Okay, Senna finished 10th.
We don't know what fuel loads everyone was running out there, but this is certainly a positive practice result.
I don't really care. Like the freaking Instagram is horribly annoying. Oh my god. All right. Boom, 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 boom. Oh shit! I just got spam. I just got spammed. Hold on. On Twitter, I mean. Bot spammed. Fuck. Okay. Pause the music. I'm gonna run the ads. I'm gonna go use the restroom, and then we'll be back for qualifying. So, see you guys in a bit. That should be resuming recording, and we are back, and we are ready for qualifying at Coda. So, let's see here what we got. Objective is to finish first in qualifying. We are going out on primes. Let's go. We got the brand new engine. We got light fuel as well this time. So, also put on a little recording from me from the class I missed Tuesday because I was out at the Union game watching them lose. That was a lot of fun. It's not the fact that they lost, it's the fact that they were 3-0 down inside 20 minutes. And then inside 10 minutes of the second half, scored twice, and then couldn't find a third freaking goal. Like, it's the fact that they gave me hope. Because, look, I usually do stay to the end, but given it was a weeknight, I wasn't even going to go to the game originally. Had they gone 4-0 down inside the second half or whatever, I'd have left. I'd have said that's enough for me. Like, there's no coming back from that. But and I don't usually leave games early. I've left one game early in 9 years. So that's a 143. God, look at how much not having the heavy fuel load does. Really, it's a shame. This is the only decent track that they race at in North America. Vegas is crap. Miami is crap.
5 minutes left for this session.
It is a shame. Like, I wouldn't mind it if they had 3 American races, but like, you know, like do F1 at like Laguna Seca, or do it at like, you know, Road Atlanta, Road America, or some, just not. It's not Miami and Vegas. They're so crap. Petrov for the Caterham is out in 24th. Jean-Eric Verne, the first of the two Toro Rossos, out in 23rd. Heikki Kovalainen, the other Caterham, out in 22nd. And then Daniel Ricciardo and the other Toro Rosso out in 21st. Then comes the two Marussias, Peak and Glock, 20th and 19th before Nikin Karthikeyan for HRT finishes P18. On to qualifying two. So, I think we're going to go on the same set of primes that we used. Hulu! How you doing, Hulu? Welcome to the stream, my friend. Good evening to you. Hi, how you doing? So, we got quali 2 going on right here. Oh, almost cooked it. Almost cooked it. Still managed to make the corner. Then, ooh. Oh man, I'm upset because I guess there's a silver lining to it, but I was looking at my stream schedule saying I scheduled maybe a little too far in advance because, you know, if the weather is nice, I would have rather have gone golfing. But then the forecast for the next 14 days, well 13 now, is rain. So there is no actual chance of golfing this week, this weekend. I should say this weekend, next week, the weekend after that, or the week after that. There was just no chance. My goal for this summer was to play 30 rounds. And I have 3 in. 3 so far. I shouldn't say the summer, but the whole golf season was 30 rounds. I have 3 in so far. But I'd like to play a lot more. It's going to become harder to after July when I buy a new car as well, because obviously I'll have a car payment to deal with, so. I did that on standard, didn't I? I did. Still came home with a 143. That should be good enough to get us into Q3. So we'll see if Senna can get into Q3.
5 minutes.
Right now, Senna, I think, is out. Yes.
Great job. We're through to the shootout.
The other HRT, Pedro De La Rosa, 17th. The first Scuderia Ferrari is Massa in 16th. Then it's the first of the two Sahara Force Indias, Nico Hulkenberg, 15th. Senna, our teammate, 14th. The first of the two, or I should say it's both Red Bulls back-to-back. Weber, 13th. Vettel, 12th. And then Paul Di Resta in the other Force India is 11th. Fernando Alonso sneaks into qualifying 3 by half a second, mind you, but or just over half a second. But yes, the Ferrari is into Q3. Sorry, I was just setting something on its way.
To push a bit earlier once the scrub tyres are up to temperature.
Looks like most of the field is behind me, which will be nice. Let's go to rich fuel mode and put in a stunker of a lap. Let's go. Early on the DRS. It feels good so far. Lost a little bit there to a frame drop. I'm having some flame stutters, but I'm not having any encoding issues like I used to. I've sorted that out. The OBS update kind of did me in there a little bit, but I had encoding for the YouTube on max, like the max settings that you could have for encoding in terms of the quality and not the performance. So that was causing all the encoding issues I was having. At least it seems for the time being. So they haven't had any since we did the Bud. I think we didn't do the Bud race. We did. This is the first race since. I'm still having the frame slippage, but I'm not having the encoding issue in OBS anymore, which is fine. I'll take it. We did do a 141. That is a absolute stormer of a lap. So the big question is, where will the Mercedes drivers start? Looks like they're going to have second and fourth, and that is the case. Grosjean actually in 10th. So the Ferrari of Alonso improves to 9th. So we are on pole position for the Coda race. So let's we're going to prepare for that. Give me 1 second here. Oh, that's still going. Okay. Oh my lord. Okay. Oh, I need to go back. Hey. So what are we doing for the, oh, it wants option. Now. 17, 29. I think we get to do a prime stop in here. So I'm going to do prime. Oh, it's going to depend on the rain too, to be honest with you. So I'll do 17, 33, 45, and then to the end. But the rain is going to affect something. 17%. It might not be 100% enough to like. I mean, it might not be enough to like pull into intermediates, but it's gonna. Oh, I gotta restart the music, by the way. It is going to affect the race in some capacity. Oh, did this bork? I think this borked. Hold on. Okay. That's fine. Let me get ready. Let's get ready and get out there, shall we? Race 19 of the 4th season. 79 of the career. We do have what? 100, I think. It's 100 for the career, 100 races. So at least for this season. I think next season as well. It's 5. It's a 20 race calendar and 5 seasons. So. Oh, just all up on my inside, are you? Okay. Managed to pull away. And we are underway here at Coda. Oh my god, I forgot how much fuel there's in the car. Holy moly, that car did not want to turn at all. It literally said, you forget I'm a tank. Like, right now, I am an absolute tank. There's only 63 laps of fuel in the car. Like, holy moly. Alright. Oh, I meant to go back. Oh, I'm going to go way back. I meant to... Hang on. This is what I meant to replay. One of these days, I'll play this on stream for y'all. Oh God, I drove the practice session, which was great. Don't get me wrong, but I did 17 laps in the practice session, and then I came out and I did the 3 laps of qualifying, and now it's like my mind's all forgetful on how the car was in the practice session because we had qualifying. I'm like, oh. Oh, I meant to hit. I always do that. Whenever the steering wheel's a little too far to the left, I always wind up hitting pause instead of curves. My headphones are going as well. I will probably not buy another HyperX product. With the exception of maybe the Quadcast. But if it has the same quality as these Cloud Alphas, I'll pass. Might get Sennheisers. I don't know. I might splash and just get Sennheisers. But go back and play that again, mate. Go back and play that again. Where are you? There you are. Oh, that's OBS. I don't need that. Let's go back into... So it's a 149.6 with a full fuel load. In qualifying, we were literally 8 seconds quicker on the primes on this very same set of tires. So, this goes to show you how drastic the fuel loads are. We're boxing on 17. My old tires didn't even last till that. Oh my god. My practice tires didn't last that. Why did I think that we were going to be able to box on 17? Why didn't it click? I don't know why it didn't click for me. All right. Maybe it's time to bring out Mario's Missing. I don't know how to hook it up for the old SNES. And I know emulating could get you in trouble. Might do it anyway and say fuck it. Just axe the VOD. It's not even a Nintendo game. It's an American-made game. The thing about playing a game like Mario's Missing now is, you know, when you're 6, 5, 4 even, you don't know a lot about the world, right? So like, when I was 4 or 5 and I was playing Mario's Missing, yeah, sure. You know, the city that was New York, I could see the Statue of Liberty. I understood that's New York City. I could guide Yoshi to meet me at New York City. You know, you don't really know a lot about the world yet. So like Nairobi, I wouldn't know where that was. Kenya, I wouldn't know where that was in the world. You know, like Buenos Aires, I wouldn't know that. There's an argument to say you might know some. You might know, you know, like a London, if you figured it out. You know, you might know where Australia is, obviously, because it's kind of unique in that it's isolated from a large part of the world, right? But, you know, you wouldn't know where Berlin is. You wouldn't know where Paris is. You just, it's not something you're aware of when you're 4, 5, or 6. So playing that game took me hours because I had to figure out where the hell everything was. Playing that game now as an adult, you would instantly know. Like, you would open the map up and be like, I'm in San Francisco. I'm in Paris. I'm in Berlin. You know, I'm in Nairobi even. So. But it is neat, the different things that they talk about in that game, and the different cultures and the history and the discoveries that were made around those cities. And you know, some of those cities are linked to national wildlife parks and stuff, and figuring and learning about them. And so. There is still content in those games that even as an adult today, you would not be maybe potentially aware of. So, the only reason I'm smart is because I played video games. educational games, when they're made well, are not that bad. They're actually just one of the greatest things you can give to a kid. The problem is a lot of them have been like stupefied, you know. Educational now game now is like, you know, what's 5 plus 7? And you have like giant blocks on a screen and they're like it's built for 4-year-olds, which okay, there's a point to be made in that. Sure, yes, that's useful, but you know, playing an interactive game like a Oregon Trail or Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego or Mario is Missing, I think is way better. You learn so much. I learned more about Japan and the history of Japan playing Shogun Total War than I really did up until, I would say, the 7th or 8th grade. And even then, in the 7th or 8th grade, we only touched on, I mean, we learned about the same information I learned from playing Shogun Total War. Great game, by the way. So between Shogun and the Mongol invasion, Shogun Total War and Shogun Total War Mongol invasion, I would say I didn't learn anything additional about Japan until maybe high school. Maybe like sophomore year of high school, 10th grade. And I didn't, I learned a lot about that from anime. You know, studying anime and how, the different influences that the history of Japan had on their own Japanese creators in anime. So there is media is not all bad for you. You have to be careful how much you consume and what you consume, but it's definitely a looking glass into a society in a way. And you can learn a lot about those societies and those other cultures through their media. So so Jade Empire, I think, is a good example of that. You can it's a Western-made game, yes, but it's got loads of research in it. You learn a lot about ancient Chinese culture and the focus on the spiritual part of that society through a game like Jade Empire. Great game, by the way. Absolutely incredible game. I would definitely consider picking that up again for stream. I would love to do that in Dungeon Siege. I've said before, Dungeon Siege would be awesome, but Dungeon Siege uses a much older version of DirectX, and for some reason, Windows 11 conflicts with Dungeon Siege. You have to run it in like a Windows XP compatibility mode, and even then it doesn't always work. And it's just too much of a hassle to do that and then get OBS to try and stream it without breaking the game. Which is a shame because it is a great game. Dungeon Siege 2, and Dungeon Siege 3. I bought 2 and 3, and I've never actually played 2 and 3. I've only played the original. Another good one was Neverwinter Nights, but I kind of got bored out of it after the second chapter. Once you leave the city in chapter 2, I got really bored of it. However, back in the day, at least, the make your own levels that you could in Neverwinter Nights was second to none. I mean, that game was what, 1999, maybe 2000, and it was just excellent. You had servers that popped up that were their own game modes, own stories, and it was amazing.
Slower traffic ahead. Be careful when overtaking. They should let you through.
I think that game also had 3 or 4 expansions as well. So some of those old games are great. Icewind Dale's awesome. It's tricky to get running on Steam, but it is definitely a fun game. Albeit, it can be a very difficult game. Uh, once you get to the furnace level, and you do, those guys can be really hurtful, especially if you run a heavy mage party. Uh, they can really tear you up. Um, you really have to have a balanced party in that game, and even then, it's no guarantee. And I felt that way about Arcanum as well, of Magic's and Steamwork Obscura. Really good game, but definitely struggled in that game. Mainly because my character wasn't a big fighter. Used a bow or a crossbow, I believe, in that game, and was really built around persuasion and intimidation, I think. And that made the game harder because you had to fight in some areas. So what I didn't like about that game is it was touted as you didn't have to fast travel if you didn't want to that game. And you could always walk to the destination. It would take you a dog's age to get there, but you could always explore the world, and that world could have different, mobs in it and whatnot. You could come across it, like, oh, here's a spider, let me just kill it, But then you never actually got any random encounters if you walked the world, and if you fast travel, you did. And then when you did get the random encounters when you fast travel, it was like freaking 7 bandits, and you're just like, shit, I can't win. And the only way to actually get past them is to have to kill them all. It was certainly a difficult game. Fun game, though. But it was not without its challenges. The original Baldur's Gate is like that. A lot of people love Baldur's Gate 3. Rightfully so. But it spawned from 2 amazing games in the series already. The first of which was a real challenge because your max level in Baldur's Gate 1 was 9. So you usually maxed out your level halfway through the game. So you had to be smart where you put your points when you did level up. Otherwise, it could punish you later on. Icewind Dale was the next game that was made by Forgotten Realms Studios after Baldur's Gate, and that was 20 was a level cap there. Baldur's Gate 2 came out, and I think 20 was a level cap there as well. And then we got Icewind Dale 2, which I believe was also 20, and then the expansion made it 25 or 30, something like that. But, and then you got Neverwinter Nights, and I think it was 40 or 50 in Neverwinter Nights. And I'm pretty sure after that, Forgotten Realms Studio folded. We did get a Neverwinter Nights 2. They either folded or I think BioWare bought them. And then BioWare gave us Jade Empire. It was like, oh, so good. so good. My only complaint with Jade Empire wasn't long enough. It was not for a RPG that was that excellent. It's about a 20 to 25 hour playthrough. And to me, I need more. I need more than that. Now, I don't want to get confused because Grosjean's running 11th now, which means Senna's running in the points. Senna's P10, I think. That's big news for us, by the way. But last night I had said that my problem with Final Fantasy's games is that while the story is enjoyable in a lot of them, they tend to be extremely repetitive, which is very true.
Traffic ahead, stay alert.
The thing, and then here I am saying 22 hours is not enough for an RPG like Jade Empire. Now, I think the big difference is you are not grinding those 22 hours in Jade Empire. The game does not require you to grind. You don't need to grind. It's kind of the way it's built. It's fine. Whoa! It's because I got all this shit on my tires now. But Final Fantasy, I think the difference is the story is 20 and 25 hours. Maybe less. Maybe the story is like 15 hours, really. And then the other 60 hours that you're playing the game, you are grinding levels. Like, that's the big difference. Is that you have to do a lot of these random battles and shit in Final Fantasy just to get your character strong enough to win the game. Or to beat the next boss and advance in the game. Whereas Jade Empire, you never really needed that. I'll be interested to see, because the remake is live battle, whereas obviously Final Fantasy traditionally is turn-based, and Jade Empire was live battle. So I'm interested to see if the reason why Jade Empire was more enjoyable was because user input matters a lot more in live battle versus a turn-based system where everybody has a set
We're comfortable at the moment.
amount of attacks or actions that all do predetermined range of damage in turn, whereas live battle you can always dodge, and it's more based on your skills and your concentration. That might be one of the things that helps make the remake actually enjoyable. 7 was enjoyable because it was just a lot of mini games. It was just a ton of side content to the quest, to the main quest. And that, in a way, always kept the game fresh. Because you were always doing something different, whether you were climbing that mountain, snowboarding down it, gambling in the gold casino, betting on the horses or the chocobos, training the chocobos, like the mountain game where you're like playing, it's like a modified version of tower defense. There was always something different in that game that kept the game fresh, and then they really ruined it in 8 because it was all like stupid shit, like, oh, here's a class and you have tests and there's a card game, and it's like, this is terrible. You know what I mean? I want the actual, like, I just want a mini game that's part of the main story, not an actual separate game within a game. I think that's what made 7 so appealing. Not the fact that it was on 3 discs either. Like, that doesn't really matter, because the big selling point when 8 came out was like, oh my god, it's the most expansive Final Fantasy ever. It's on 4 discs, and then you're grinding through it. It's just awful. And the monsters leveled up with you, so it just was like, why? Why is this needed? My tires are begging for mercy, but I still got 3 laps left on them. This is going to be interesting. That front left is looking awful. I'm going to wind up rewinding this song 2 more times. It's Cammy's theme. Come on now. Cammy's original theme from Super Street Fighter 2. Which I want to say added 4 characters. Fei Long, T-Hawk, DJ, and Cammy. And amongst the Street Fighter series, Fei Long and T-Hawk kind of got lost a little. Fei Long is like a Bruce Lee inspired character. And obviously Cammy became a cult icon. And DJ's back. I think he's in the new one in Street Fighter 6. Don't know if he was in like 4. Certainly wasn't in 3, but to me 3 were the whole collection of Street Fighter 3 games were just awful. Whole bunch of characters nobody cares about that aren't likable in any way, sense, or form. The fighting engine was actually decent, but oh, I gotta go rewind. This has got to be FF6. It is. It's the wedding duel. You know, have some more Cammy. Oh my God, that is. Somebody sent me a photo, and I'm like, that is the creepiest looking thing you could have sent me. Oh my God. Okay. We just set this on its way. That's good to go. Let me check this. Okay, that went offline. That's online. That's still online. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. We're good there. Let me minimize that. Now we're good to go. Oh, did I? Oh no, that's Winamp. I need this. Whoa, I need this guy to resume. Yeah, I played a bit of this game back in the day, Super Street Fighter 2. Was never good at it. But used to run the tournaments all the time. And then try to beat the tournaments. It was fun. A little bit. Ah. Oh, I gotta rewind it already again. One more time. One more time before we go to the wedding waltz. There we go. Uh, was a fun game. I used to play a little bit of DJ. He was like my 3rd or 4th character. I played a little bit of Cammy. She was like my 4th. I played a lot of Bison and a lot of Barlock. That's for sure. I'd say Barlock was my 2nd, and Bison was probably my 1st.
Fuel is looking okay, but we'll keep an eye on it.
That front left has got to be. Oh man, it's bad. I'm curious if we're even going to make it. I don't know. We're boxing next lap. So we only have to get through 2 more laps. But still. Now the wedding waltz can come in from FF6. I don't even remember the wedding waltz. Or what point the wedding waltz was even in. The wedding waltz duel. What part was this? Freaky game. Really freaky game. There were some parts of this game that just creeped me out, man. Like, when you go to that art museum and all the paintings and stuff, it's just like, woo, man. But obviously the final boss and the art that they had was a little bit, like, interesting.
The pit window is open. Come in this lap.
A little bit creepy at times. Especially the angel. That when she holds the head and whatnot, it's like, what is going on here? Oh my god, that left looks terrible. The right's not looking too great either, but the front left looks absolutely awful. I was going to say, I was curious to see where we're at way after the pit stops. Looks like Raikkonen still held on to his 3rd place after everything. Rosberg's still 2nd. Schumacher's probably still 4th. That means they would gain 5 points on us. But we are coming along here.
We're ready for you. Box in this lap.
Yes, I'm coming in. That's a big, big lockup. Whew, they made it. I can't believe they made it. That front left is looking, it's just red. It's just beat red. Prime, option. The sun's come out.
The track is clear. Track is clear.
Oh yeah, track's
With
clear,
a
but
new set of prime tyres on the car, you have 2 stops remaining.
this stint is not going to be as long, thankfully. So the tires will be fine. We should be good on tires till the end. Code is just always going to be a 3-stopper when it's option versus prime. Boom, 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 boom. Another reason, by the way, speaking of like Final Fantasy and minigames, probably another reason why this game was so successful. Super Mario RPG Legend of the 7 Stars, and a lot of fun. I mean, it just, the minigames you had, like going down the river and whatnot, like,
The car ahead. He's going to have to move over and let you pass.
it really was phenomenal and era defining. And then the race up Wedding Hill and just Booster's Tower in general was fun. Mobile Minecart. If you remember that, the mini game there, a lot of fun. So it was really good environments. Monstro Town, obviously, amazing place. Characters were really likable, except for like Mallow. He was kind of annoying at times, but he came around in the end. But he was really annoying. Gino was a bit of a prick. I'm gonna be honest with you. But sorry, my pedals are too far away from me. But the fact that you got to team up with Peach and whatnot, like, and Bowser and whatnot, like, great. A lot of good secrets too. Oh, the Yoshi racing? Yoshi's Island? With the Yoshi racing? That's a fun minigame. Oh, man. See, Final Fantasies don't really have a lot of it, or it's crap. Like, Blitzball was such a... Like, it was... Blitzball was fun in 10, but then they made it such a grind. And it's like, I don't want to really... I don't really want to participate or partake in something that's... Like, I'm already grinding the game and levels and experience and random battles and whatnot to get that experience. And the last thing I want to do is grind Blitzball as well. Like, I just... Like, the minigame's supposed to be a break from that grind. That's the entire reason why 7 was great. You know, or so much of a cult classic as well. Like, 10 is a cult classic, but personally I don't think it's very enjoyable. I think 10 is really not a good game. Of course, one of the worst games in the whole series spawned from it, and that was 10 too. Which had Riku in it for quite a bit. And she was unbelievably unlikable. Oh my god. But at least in 7, the unlikable characters you didn't have to particularly get in your party. Or deal with very often, even when they were in your party. Yuffie is an example. But... You know, 10 just had a lot of unlikable characters. I think that was the big problem with 10. Is that a lot of the main cast is just completely unlikable. So, and the game got too young. You know, 10, 12, and whatnot. You know, they became geared towards younger audiences. It's all like high school like drama. Whereas like 2 and 6 and 1 were not geared as much towards that. Certainly not 6, certainly not 1. So that's why I enjoyed them a lot more. Tactics was interesting in its own light. The gameplay was innovative, very innovative. The story was very interesting as well. I thought at times it suffered from what I talking about with the high schoolness, but I think the setting helped bring that back. The fact that it was a medieval setting and Tactics is one of the best Final Fantasy games in the whole series. I will say. Finally into the 147s. It's a purple lap. Feels good, man. That's a good lap. Means the fuel load is lighting up finally. We only have about 34 laps left, so the car is starting to feel a lot lighter, I will say. I know it's gradual, but certainly this stint has felt a lot better with the car. It has been significantly better in terms of turning and traction and just the grip that I have. Still 35 laps remaining in this race. We are purple again. Look at that. Lock the wheels, of course, but that's fine. That should be a 6. No, it's just a 7. It's a lower 7. 147, 348. Not bad. Give me a second here. Sneeze fest. Nice. Tim Howard got inducted into the U.S. National Soccer Hall of Fame today. What an absolute legend of the scene. Absolute legend. So, big congrats to him, I have to say. He totally deserved. Howard is one of the best players the U.S. has ever produced. Uh, so, it's very deserving for him to be in the Hall of Fame, the National Hall of Fame, I have to say. He deserves every accolade that comes his way because of that. So Still holds the record, the World Cup record for most saves in a game. At least I believe it is. It might just be knockouts, I'm not sure. But he holds a World Cup record, I know that.
Guys have run the numbers, and we calculate that Rosberg will be pitting within the next 2 laps.
He is, and that was that amazing to think that happened more towards the middle to end of his career, that one. That game. Okay, Rosberg going to be pitting soon. So. We're still optimal on fuel. We've gone into standard mode. We are monitoring it. I tried to go around the outside with Grosjean, but he's not moving over. And now I've ran into all the marbles for no reason. Thanks, Grosjean. Amazing to think, by the way, that they produced a game like this, Street Fighter 2. That was so popular. And yet most of the characters that they had in Street Fighter 1, you never saw again. Because it was just so old. And only 2 characters were playable. You saw them again, of course, obviously. But all the non-playable characters you had to play against, you had to fight against, you never saw. Let's see, I can start to hold that flat. That's how I know this. Oh, Senna, P7. Keep that up, Senna. I don't know if that's because of pits or whatnot, but keep it up anyway. That would be huge. Perez is P4. The question is, where's Schumacher? Because if Senna's 7, that is 6 points for us. That would put us on 31. Rosberg's got 18 right now. Schumacher might only have 5. It might be a gain of points. It is possible for us to win the Constructors this weekend. Kobayashi is 6. Which means we might be gaining 6 points. If Schumacher is 5th, we might be gaining 6 points on Mercedes, and that could be enough to get us over the line with a race to spare. Oh, I took a terrible line through that corner. That purple just got cooked. . 146. Finally into the 146s on primes now. We got options coming up soon as well. Perez P4. Where's fifth? Did fifth pit? Did I pass fifth? I thought sixth was Kobayashi. Fourth is Perez. I still think Schumacher is fifth. I don't know. If he's not, then it's a very good chance he's DNF'd. And but I don't know who would be in his place. Maybe I don't think anyone's in his place. Maybe Button, but I didn't see where Button. I haven't been paying attention to who I've been passing, except for like the last 4 laps. Thank you for getting out of the way so I didn't have to. Glock, thank you. It's a faster 146 even. Pick 23rd. So we don't have any DNFs because Glock is 24th. So Schumacher is 5th. There's no way about it. I didn't see him, but he's 5th. So that would put Mercedes on 28 points. And if Senna stays P7, that would put us on 31. So we'd gain 3 points on him this weekend. Still not enough to clinch the title, but certainly enough to get one hand on it. Means it would require like a 7th place finish or better at the last race of the season. Oh. Oh. That's Rosberg pitting. And that is Raikkonen not. Raikkonen moves up to P2. There it is on the scoreboard now.
He's in the pits this lap.
Yep.
We have a problem with DRS. You won't be able to activate.
Cool. I barely get it anyway. Like, I've had it maybe 4 or 5 times this race.
You're coming up to a lapped car. Be careful when overtaking.
Coven line. Oh no, the spin! All right. I said pause. Our first flashback of the race. Oh man.
You should see DRS back online now. We fixed the problem.
Thank you. Fix it just in time for me not to have it. There you go. But all right. Let's go. Fuel still optimal. We are halfway through. Halfway done this race at Coda. Still no sight of the rain. We was expected 17%. That's like like 9 laps maybe. 9 laps affected. 9, 10. Could always still come towards the end of the race. But we box in 5. I had to get a little water in me there. I realized I haven't taken a break in like I haven't drank water, I should say, in about an hour. So, oh, nice. For those of you on Twitch, you're going to get an ad in about 3 minutes' time. Yeah. Yeah. Uniracers, I freaking love this game. That is Raikkonen. Raikkonen's put primes on. That might bite him in the butt, because I think everybody else is really going prime, option, option. We went prime, prime, option, option. But Raikkonen's pitted. Rosberg's repassed him. Might come out in 4th, Raikkonen. We're monitoring. I need to reshift in my seat. Oh my God. My knees and whatnot. Good Lord. Oh, let me get this going again. Hold on. I just watch over. That's fine. I'm going to use the ad break coming up here right now to use the restroom. So, you got the ads in just under 30 seconds. For those of you on YouTube, I'll pause the recording for you so there won't be a large break time. I try to remember. I don't always remember, but I'll try to do that now for you. So we're going to pause the recording. We're back. YouTube should be re-recording. Let's get the music back in there. There you go. Good old Blanca. Crap. Hang on, let me respond to this message I've gotten. Maybe I shouldn't have unpaused or re-resumed the YouTube recording, but give me a second here. Oh my lord. I gotta refresh the page, it's not even loading. Let me click that. Alright, that is good to go. Alright, OBS, let's go win a race let's go and win this race. I agree, Dr. Django. Hello, welcome. We're not racing to compete, unfortunately. I will not to disappoint you, but I'm mainly racing to practice not using the assists. I totally messed up my OBS here. There we go. Now it's fixed. So this is more a race to practice essentially how to race without assists. So I still have the racing line on. Traction control is at medium. But anti-lock brakes are off. But I still want you to win. I appreciate that. There you go. And we've been taking an assist off every season. So season 1 was fully like all the assists were on season 1. And then we took the automatic gearbox off. Season 2. Season 3 was anti-lock brakes. Season 4 we moved from full traction control to medium, which is where we're at now. Code was the penultimate race of that season, so we've got what do you call it? We got one more race left at Interlagos, and then we have the season 5, which should be maybe traction control all the way off. I don't even know if I'm ready for that yet, but because I'll tell you what, traction control in the dry like this, not having traction control in the dry like this, it's not too bad. But the moment you get into like tricky weather, it's a completely different story. I'm not good at that. Like there's been times even in this season with the traction control and medium where I've had I've stayed out maybe a lap too long on slicks, and it's an absolute nightmare. So I will say that I can't even imagine what not having any traction control is like. Especially even being on inters and you need to go to full wets, or being on full wets and you need to go to inters, is just so hard. I think that race, I think it was Singapore, but that race in Singapore was the main, because it just was like, it was forecasted to rain, and I was like, okay, we're going to get a little bit of rain. It's going to rain about a third of the race. I'll go on a dry setup and we'll handle it. But it wasn't like any other race I did where it was just a light rain, and then the track got a little bit too damp and whatnot. It was just the heavens opened up and it just poured, and I mean poured. I mean, it was like, boom, next lap you got to be on inters, and then I went from inters, boom, next lap you got to come back in and go on wets, man. It was just no compromise. And Singapore is a long lap to begin with, so it was just brutal. That race was brutal. Believe we are boxing next lap to go on to option tires. We're starting to lose our grip a little bit on these, but it's not terribly too bad. We still have 25 laps as well. Welcome to the stream, by the way, Dr. Jangle. Appreciate you stopping by. Hope you're well. So. Ooh. So. I saw Kurt J. Mag playing this the other day. The Farlands Bus streamer, the GOAT streamer. Used to play a lot of Kerbal Space Program as well way back. Oh, I didn't hit the brake hard enough there. And he was playing Monaco with a friend in co-op career. I believe it was co-op career.
Pit in this lap. Come into the pit to the end of this lap.
Yeah, we are indeed boxing for options. So. So. Oh, whoa. Oh, that was close. Thank you. I'm great. Got cold beer and nice stream to watch. Cold beer. What are you drinking? That's the big question. What's the beer? So. There's a streamer I follow who rated us yesterday called Mad FM, Mad with 2 D's, so MADDFM. And he's Irish, so he drinks Guinness a lot. And I've heard it doesn't travel well, but I still enjoy it, even though... I mean, he's Irish, so it's not that like it travels far with him. You know what I mean? He's enjoying a proper Guinness, but... I'm American, so that's quite a bit of traveling, and I heard it doesn't travel. It doesn't taste the same as it does in Ireland. So... Right now, Heineken and Tuborg. What is Tuborg? Is that is it a stout? Is it a Pilsner or a what's the other one? Not like an IPA, but porter. It's a Danish Pilsner. Love a good Pilsner. Really love a good Pilsner. There was mostly the American Pilsners are awful. Coors, Bud Light, all that stuff, just terrible. But
There's some traffic at the pit exit. Watch out as you rejoin the track.
I had one once, and it was a European Pilsner. And I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. It was a very popular European Pilsner. So. Oh, yeah, we got options. Once these are up to temp, we're going to be flying around this track. Carlsberg? No. It's been years since I've had it, so my memory's not very good. I don't think I've had Carlsberg, to be honest with you. So, what is this track, by the way? Kirby's Dream Land. Oh, ominous wind from Kirby's Dream Land. Yeah. Honestly, I'm not gonna remember the name of it. It wasn't a huge brand name, but it's still popular. I know that. Like, so it's not like a Carlsberg. It's not like a but anyway, if I remember it, I'm Danish. All Saturburg and Carlsberg is in my blood. Fair enough. I do remember having is it Mogner's? Mongers? It's a cider, but it's like a Irish cider. And that was very good. I can't remember if that's the name of it. Something similar to that. But There used to be a place I used to frequent in the city when I used to commentate. So I used to travel to commentate because way back in the day, and it's not that far, it's like 2019, 2020, there was an ISP in my area that basically had a monopoly. And that ISP was Frontier, and all they offered was DSL. And it just wasn't good enough to stream. I could never stream with it. So, back in those days, I used to travel to the city to commentate Counter-Strike. And there was a place a block away from the place I used to commentate from that sold European beer. They had like 6 or 7 fridges, and I think they actually had about 12. But if I remember correctly, 4 to 5 of them were American. I think 4 of them were American beer. One of them was like, a White Claw and all that like fruity hard liquor stuff. And then 6 or 7 fridges were European beer. Like one would be, or just international in general. They had a fridge of Jamaican beer, a fridge of British beer, a fridge of German beer, a fridge of Spanish, things like that, right? Some Japanese in there as well. And I did get to try a lot of mainly Belgian beer, which were a lot of ales, and German beer, which was just way too heavy. German beer, I felt like if I poured it in my car, it would run clean. But at least the ones that they had on offer, I'll put it that way. Maybe not all German beer, right? Obviously. There were some that I liked. But I remember the Belgian and like Dutch beers I really enjoyed a lot. Don't think I've had anything Danish though, to be fair. I'll have to try it. It's still there, that place, but I don't have a reason to go back into the city as much anymore now that I have cable internet. So the company that had a monopoly in the area actually went under. They went into Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Came out of bankruptcy, but they couldn't hold on to their monopoly because they couldn't spend the money to lobby the local governments to allow that monopoly. And the moment that Comcast got a hold of that, they were like, oh, well, cable internet, everybody, here you go. So now I can actually stream from the comfort of my home for once. It's been a wonderful 2 years being able to do that. But I couldn't believe it. Like, people were gobsmacked when I told them back in the day, like 2020. I keep saying back in the day like it's far, but back in 2020, 2021, that, like, I only had DSL, and that was the only thing on offer. Like, the infrastructure just wasn't in place for any other type of internet. Am I going to go purple? I am on a 45. Oh, just purple. 145, 170. So. This is a phenomenal track, by the way. Really. One of the best in the circuit, it has to be said. You said you're Danish, but is there any... Are there any racetracks that are world-renowned that are Danish? I don't think I know of any. There's got to be... You guys got to have a racetrack somewhere over there. I just can't remember any that I've raced at all in any of the games. Whether it's F1 or NASCAR or Forza or... Maybe I'm just blanking. I don't know. Then again, you are near like 2 of them, so... near, quote-unquote. The Zandvoort's not really near Denmark, but then again, neither is probably Hockenheim or Nürburgring. Not huge on the Nürburgring's F1 track, but I feel like for the German Grand Prix, not that it's there anymore, it's not, I'm aware, but Hockenheim to me is a better track for Formula One. It's just stadium section can be a little tight, aware of that, but I just feel like it's a better track for Formula One. Nürburgring is just, although it's in the next game, so once we finish career mode here and we move on to F1 13, it's going to be in there. Hockenheim is replaced with Nürburgring. So there is a period too, at least I think there was a period in the 2010s, it might have been before that, where the European Grand Prix was not at Valencia but at Hockenheim, or at Nürburgring. And you used to get the German Grand Prix at Hockenheim and then the European Grand Prix at the Nürburgring. All right, Paris is 5th. Who's 4th? That's what I want to know. Who is 4th? We're fighting for the constructors. Driver's already decided. Driver's title's already in the books. But the constructors is still on the line here with 2 races to go. There we go. Schumacher is P4. So he is set to get 12 points. Rosberg is P3 right now. He's set to get 15. That would give us, that would give them 27. We're set to get 25. If Senna is still P7, that would give him 6. So that would give us 31 to their 27. That's only a 4-point difference. So we could go into, I think we're 38 ahead. We might be only 36 ahead. I think it's 36 actually. But that would only give us a 40-point gap going into the last race of the season, which would mean a 7th place finish from either car would be enough in the lead. That's if results stand. And the 7th place or better at Interlagos would be enough. $17 to go. We are going to play a little Football Manager later on as well. Probably finish the last game of the season for us in Football Manager. Title's already decided. Relegation is not. We don't play anybody threatened by relegation. We have basically a dead rubber against AFC Oldham Reserves. AFC Oldham Reserves are 4th in the league. They could definitely gain or lose places, but they can't gain. They can't get in 2nd and get promoted, and they can't get into 9th and get relegated, so it's very much a dead rubber for them. We're already champions of the league in that, so that is a dead rubber for us. But Bar Hill and Didsbury are battling it out to stay up. And both are on equal points as well. Bar Hill ahead by 5 goals in the goal difference. So Should be a good final day. Earlham Steel, Rangers Reserves, and Timberley Villa are also fighting for the final promotion spot, if I remember correctly. Earlham Steel are 3 ahead, and they have a 7 better goal difference, or a 9 better goal difference. But it's not quite secure yet. Timberley play the team, I think, 2 places below them. Milnrow Figrovia, who are in 5th. Earlham Steel, Rangers Reserves in 2nd play, I believe, the team in 6th, I want to say, which is Mauston Brook under 18s. So. So promotion and relegation still to be decided in that league. But almost all but decided. Really, promotion's almost all but decided. It's really just a relegation spot. Whoa! That's up for grabs. We box in 5 for the final set of option tires. Where is this from? I was going to say Donkey Kong Country. I'm like, it sounds like Donkey Kong Country, but I'm not 100% sure. Give me a second here. Oh, that looks terrible. Start that. That's still going. And then there you go. Raikkonen P2. He's doing well to keep the gap pretty wide between him and Rosberg, I will say. If he can increase that gap, it'll be good for us. Means it'll almost certainly keep Rosberg pinned to 3rd. If he comes back up to 2nd, he's got what, 4th and 2nd, then you're talking about 30 points versus our 31. That's if Senna's still 7th. I have to see next time by. We'll have to check next time by. Rosberg's pitting from P3. And he's pitting on the primes. So Raikkonen has a chance to really open up a gap here. Rosberg 20 seconds back from Raikkonen. Managed to save it. Oh, fuel's -1 lap. We'll have to go into lean mode here. $15 to go. Come on, Glock. I say, just move, mate. This part of that game, by the way, Super Mario RPG, this song was from, obviously. This part of the game was emotional for me. Star Road, I got really emotional. Not like bawling my eyes out, but it's just when you learn to when you get to understand the characters, and then you're on Star Road and you see what their true wishes are, it's kind of amazing.
Perez should be coming into the pits within the next 5 laps.
Is that P7? No, that's 17th. For a second, I thought it was P7. I was gonna be like, that's not Senna. This will be if Senna can hold on to P7, it'll be a good chunk of points for him too. Because I think he's like 10 or 12 back from. I think the Red Bulls are ahead of him. They might not be. If not, it might be. I think it might be the Red Bulls. Because like both the Saubers have a lot, both the Mercedes have a lot, both the Lotus have a lot, both the McLarens have a lot. There's no catching any one of those 8 drivers for him. But the next team like would be Red Bull or Ferrari, and I'm pretty sure it's Red Bull, and I'm pretty sure they have it's catchable, but then he has to have 2 good performances. 7th place here would be one of them, that's for sure. Fuels into optimal. We'll do another lap on lean and then probably take it back. Are we boxing next lap? Yeah, we are. Rears are getting really worn this time. It was the front and left that was when we were on the primes. This stint, it's been the rears. Sorry, I'm not even in 7th. I'm an idiot thinking it's going to tick over to the purple, but I forgot I'm on lean mode. It's not going to. Oh, that's so wide. I locked the front right. Which one from Donkey Kong Country is this? Mill Fever, that's right. Great song. Are you driving a steering wheel or a controller or a keyboard? I have the Logitech G920. So I do have a steering wheel. And it's done me well. I've put probably about 1,500 hours into the steering wheel. Between this game, Euro Truck Simulator 2, and F1. I think I've had the wheels since F1 21, if I'm honest. And 24 is about to come out, which I plan on playing a bit of. So I'll probably play 24 quite a bit once it comes out, and then come back and finish this regular season, or career mode, I should say, at some point. I do have a stream schedule that's pretty up to date on the channel. I think it runs through the 25th of May, and the plan is by the 25th I will be through the Bahrain race on season 5, so that would leave us with 16 races left in this game.
Fuel is good, fuel is good. We can move to mix 2 or 3 if you need it.
We'll move to mix 2.
Don't forget, pit in this lap.
And this should be our last pit stop here.
Radar suggests light rain in around 15 minutes.
15 minutes. That's like 7-ish laps, maybe 6. That'll be lap 51 or 52. We'll get the rain, and then it's 4 laps to go until the ends, or 5, if it's so. I don't know. We'll see if it becomes enough to affect the race. Let me get some water while we're waiting here. Fun game. This is, I keep saying this. I've said it maybe every stream I've played this, but this is arguably one of the best F1 games in the series. I don't think there's a lot that can rival this game. Ooh. 23 was pretty good, though, I will say. It was okay, I'll put it that way. The EA has really ruined a lot of it with the whole brand store crap and the My World, the My Car, or the World Car, or whatever, was interesting, but it's not really for me. I would love to get a career mode that starts in F3. I think if EA can work on that and give us something that starts in F3, you should be able to pick F3 or, obviously, if you create a female character, the F1 Academy. And then move that into F2 and move that into F1. That would be sick. That would be a lot of fun. I will say that. You can have your driver career be like 15 years if you want to start in F3, move up to F2, move up to F1. I haven't played the new F1 sim, or the F1 management game. I do have F1 22 Manager, or F1 Manager 22. And that's a fun game. I'm struggling in it, though, because I picked Williams, and that was after, that game came out right after the season where they finished dead last, which I want to say was in 2021. So they weren't favored in that game. And it's very hard to get that team to be successful. But I have F1 Manager 23, I just not played it. I bought it, never played it. Like an idiot. So, like I do with most Steam games. Buy them, never play them. I have almost 200 games in my Steam library, I think, and I have played probably 60. But if you put any sort of time requirement on it, like 2 hours, that number's even less. That number's like maybe 50 or 40. That is a purple lap, 145, 136. We have 9 to go. That's Raikkonen. Does he stay in front of Rosberg after his pit? That's the big question.
We think there's a chance of light rain in 10 minutes time. 10 minutes.
Watching ever so closely. Right now he's still in front of Rosberg. purple through 2 again. This lap feels really good. I will say that. This is the triple right-hander, if I remember correctly, so. Then we're on the options, so we don't have to really turn in that heavy. The tires will do most of the work for us. Vettel will get out of the way nicely. We had DRS down the back straight. $143? $142? No, 143. 143, 137. Purple again. That's almost as quick as the qualifying time. I did 141s on primes in the qualifying, but the car still has, you know, what, 8 laps worth of fuel in it? 9 laps worth of fuel in it, actually. So, I think by then I had about 4.3 in the car during qualifying. It feels really good, though. I will say that. That's one thing I'll have to work on in future F1 games, too. The track extensions say strict versus relaxed. There is no such setting in this game. It is just, I mean, there's like flags and rules, and one says like realistic, and the other says like arcade, and it's on realistic, but it's just, it's just so forgiving. Track extensions are, I mean, they weren't punished back in 2012 like they are now anyway, so it was just a different time, even though it was only 12 years ago. Seven to go. Oof. That curb really rearranged the car. Senna's still running P7. There he is. Good for him. That's some big points for him right now. It's been a few races since he found himself in the points. That's big for us too in the constructors. Rosberg's still third. I'm wondering where is Schumacher. We gave Senna a nice tow down the back straight too. That's hey, that's nice. Raikkonen holding on to P2 for us. He had a great start to the season, and then Lotus really fell off hard. Felt bad for him. They were looking like 5 or 6 races in. They were right there with Mercedes and us in the championship fight. Lotus led the constructors the opening 3 races, and then we overtook them, and then Mercedes overtook us, and then about 9-10 races into the season we overtook Mercedes, and we haven't relinquished the lead since. But Schumacher's still fourth. I've overshot the turn looking at the standings. Oh, no. All right. But, oh, I forgot the Union are playing tonight. Oh, I think they're playing. I think it's tonight they play. We're playing in DC tonight. We're on a 2-game losing streak. We lost 2 at home. Usually we never lose at home, or we rarely lose at home. It's like a fortress, man. We've lost 2 straight. The Real Salt Lake, okay, they're a good team. I think they were top of the West. So it's like, okay, they're a fairly good team this year. And then we lost to freaking Seattle, who they're managed well, but they're just not a good team. They just don't have the personnel. They got to rebuild. They sold pieces like Nicholas Ladero went. They got a few other pieces they need to really offload, Seattle. Free up cap space. Help themselves build towards the future, but oh, I just thought of something that might, okay. Anyway. Come on, Kobayashi, let me go, let me through. His teammate, Perez, 5th. Sauber's having a storming year. Actually, Kobayashi's probably going to overtake him now. Oh, they're battling. No way. I think they're like level on points almost too, like Kobayashi and Perez. But I think they're trying to chase down McLaren, who Hamilton and Button are not anywhere close to the top 5. So Sauber might get him here. It's really weird because Hamilton and to a lesser extent Button, but mainly Hamilton, had some storming races where he had the podiums and whatnot. And then Button had, I think, 1 or 2. But then they have races like this where they just completely fall off the wagon, really. And it just, they don't pick up a lot of points. Schumacher 4th, Rosberg 3rd. They're set to get 27 points. Mercedes. We are set to get 31. Going into the last race of the season. That might be a 40-point gap, which means 8th. Actually, if it's a 40-point gap, 8th will be enough. An 8th place finish. Ah. Well, the skies are getting pretty dark. It's been a bit of a long race. Coda seems to be. A minute 43 is the best lap, so you figure, what, 3 minute 30 for 2 laps? That's 7 minutes for 4 laps. I'm trying to do the math in my head. 14 times 7. That's like a 98-minute race in the dry. And that's if you're doing minute 45 laps. Obviously, towards the start, they were more like minute 49. So, and you got the 3 pit stops. So this is probably going to be about an hour 40-minute, hour 41-minute race that we'll probably clock in at. And we still have the rain that might come to disrupt that even. Speaking of which, there's the drizzle going into the final turn on lap 53. So is it going to rain heavy enough to warrant inters on the last lap or 2? We'll see. We'll keep an eye on the track. 3 to go, though. Man, I'm going to need a drink of water. Oh, man. Lasagna did me in tonight. I've got really bad heartburn from it. And usually it doesn't bother me. Oh, wow, it's really raining back here. Where's my engineer? It's starting to rain. Thanks, Jeff. All right, I can see it. It's certainly disrupting the racing lines, I'll say that. The rubber on the racing lines is almost... Oh, I cooked it. Shit. I thought it was a different turn. I completely thought it was a different turn. Good old Yoshi's Island. Oh, boys, this is going to be tricky. Let me go, please. Thank you. Much obliged. I mean, that's without a doubt. My question is the rain. It's really coming down. Might be last lap enters. We'll see. Get by Rosberg. We only have Raikkonen who's up the road. Question is how far up the road. I think this is an HRT. Maybe? Yes, it is. Carthagena. I don't think... Oh, Carthagena, really? DRS isn't disabled yet. I'm surprised, given it's raining so hard. Oh, I somehow managed to stop that in time. That was a very late break on my part. Here is Raikkonen, by the way. He is... Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like 6. He's 5.9. Rosberg probably won't catch him. I don't want to go to inters, but this is the only time I'll be able to call it. And it's raining. Good. It's raining real good. This last lap is going to be pretty tricky. But here we go. Final lap. 1 to go. Oh yeah, there's no rubber left on this track. The rain has washed it all away. I'm starting to see puffs from the tires, which means the track's getting pretty wet. Oh! Whoa, yeah, really wet. It's inter-territory. This is inter-territory, and I'm on slicks. Ah! No point in pitting now. But it's inter-territory. All right. This is going to be a really interesting third sector, that's for sure. Holy shit, is it wet. The track's starting to get a gloss on it because it's so wet. Oh, boy. It's heavy, too. This rain is heavy. Oh, I can't even go full throttle. Otherwise, the car's going to lose its end. Final turn. Even locking up under braking. Oh my god. Season 2 Coda was like this too. But we finished on inters. There's the checkered flag. A big Senna finishes 7th. Let's go through the standings, shall we? And what is a pivotal race? No DNFs for once.
Great drive.
Glock finishes 24th for Marusha's teammate 23rd and Charles Pick. And then it's the two Toro Russells, Jean-Eric Verne in 22nd, Ricardo 21st. The two Caterhams then, Kovalainen 20th, Petrov 19th. The first of the two HRTs, Pedro De La Rosa 18th. Hulkenberg in the first of the two Force Indias 17th. The other HRT in the Keen Karthikeyan 16th. Massa improves 1 for Ferrari to 15th. He's not had a very great year. Paul di Resta in the other Force India, nice, yeah, down to P14. The first of the two Red Bulls, P13 for Mark Webber. Alonso fell out of the points despite a good qualifying for him in P9 for Ferrari. Vettel cannot get into the points for Red Bull. He finishes P11. Button in McLaren will pick up a single point in P10. He falls 4 positions from qualifying. Grosjean improves 1 for Lotus. He grabs 2 points in 9th. And then Hamilton and the other the other McLaren grabs 4 points despite qualifying 5th. He falls 3 positions for 8th. Our teammate, driver of the day, certainly improves 7 positions for Williams. Gets 6 big points in 7th. Kamui Kobayashi improves 1 for Sauber to come home 6th for 8 points. And then Sergio Perez improves 3 for Sauber to come home 5th for 10 points. The first of the two Mercedes at 4th for 12 points. And then it is Nico Rosberg, the other Mercedes, in 3rd for 15 points. So 27 for them. Kimi Räikkönen, the other Lotus, finishes in 2nd. 18 points for the Finn. And then we finish top, 25 points. Race time, 1 hour, 47 minutes, 50.116 seconds. So, drivers, Pick is last in 24th. Then it's Glock, the two Marussias. Kovalainen, 22nd for Caterham. Then it's the two Toro Rossos, Ricardo and Verne, 21st, 22nd. Petrov and the other Caterham is 19th. Paul di Resta, 18th for Sahara Force Indy. He still hasn't scored points. He's the highest ranked driver not to score points. 17 of the 24 in the field have, but Paul di Resta is not one of them. Felipe Massa for Scuderia Ferrari picks up a point. He has picked up a point in the season. He is 17th. The Keen Karthikeyan is 16th. Pedro De La Rosa for HRT 15th. Force India's Hulkenberg has picked up 2. He is 14th. Vettel is on 11 for Red Bull. Tied on points for Alonso, who's ahead on countback on 11 as well. 12th. Mark Webber is on 22 in 11th. Our teammates 6 points has leapfrogged them ahead of Red Bull. Bruno Senna squeaks into the top 10 on 23 points. And then it is 111 points up to Kamui Kobayashi in 9th. Sergio Perez's Sauber is only 2 points ahead of him in 8th. He is trying to gun down Jenson Button, who's only 7 points ahead of him now for McLaren in 7th. Roman Grosjean in the Lotus is now in 6th, only 4 points ahead of that McLaren. His teammate Kimi Räikkönen is 17 points ahead of him in 5th. And then it is 28 to Lewis Hamilton. So Hamilton cannot drop to 5th. He secured a top 4 finish. And then ahead of him by, 29 points is Nico Rosberg. So Rosberg secured a top 3. His teammate is 14 points ahead of him and Michael Schumacher. We are at the top, 240 points ahead of Schumacher on 475. Constructors, Marussia last in 12th. Toro Rosso in 11th. Caterham is in 10th, all without points. HRT is now 9th on 2 points. Sahara Force India 8th on 2 points. That's by countback with the 9th place finish from Hulkenberg. Ferrari is in 7th on 12 points. Red Bull are 21 ahead of them in 6th. And then it is 237 points ahead of Red Bull is Sauber. So Sauber secured a top 5 finish. They are 41 points back from Lotus. 44 is the maximum. So they will need to win and finish 2nd and hope that the Lotuses don't pick up any points to finish in 4th. That's what Sauber needs. So Lotus 311. It is 24 points ahead for McLaren in 3rd, and then it is 81 points? No, 121 points up to Mercedes. So Mercedes has secured at least the top two, and McLaren is almost guaranteed third. Not quite yet, though. We are 42 points ahead. So a ninth place finish from either driver of the Williams is enough for either me or Senna. A ninth place finish is enough to secure the Constructors' title. That's what we will need. So, race over. We have one race to go. This might get us to rank 47. It does. One race to go. Sao Paulo, we can win the Mercedes could win the Constructors' Championship. Yes, but so could we. So we need 2 points. 2 points to win it all. So Interlagos is the last track.
Here we go on a lap of Interlagos. This anti-clockwise circuit makes it one of the most physically demanding tracks for the drivers.
And that is going to be next. So we're going to take a quick break. The ads just kicked on, so we are going to kick over to FM. Let me there's an NPSL game? Oh. Is that a development league? It is a development league. Okay. I was like, what the hell? Why are they doing it in Chester? Okay. All right. Yeah. NPSL, the development league. So. Oh, let's stop the recording, shall we? As I'm trying to work on the overlay, stream overlay. But yeah, let's stop the recording. So for those of you that watch the F1, thank you so much on YouTube. We will see you for Interlagos, the final race of Season 4. That'll be coming up in the next episode of our F1 2012 career. Until then, take care.